Here we are, partying.
Here we are. Party time. Sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah. I'm upset with Diet Coke.
We're not actually sponsored by anything.
After all I've done for them, they still don't want to sponsor me.
Maybe we just haven't said it enough, you know? Isn't it the
No, I'm giving up early.
squeaky wheel gets the grease?
No, I'm upset with them. How much money I've spent on Diet Coke in the last year?
It's Diet Cokey.
They just don't care about me. DCs.
DCs. Well,
here we are.
Here we are. We're back.
I wonder if anyone knows what word we bleeped out last episode.
If you know what the word was that had the bleep, let us know in the comments.
I know. It was a dirty word.
Trey doesn't get to
that
answer.
Dirty word.
They're supposed to let us know.
Yeah, but he's gonna bleep it again.
Okay.
I'm just good.
Don't get. Okay.
All right, we're jumping in.
We're jumping.
This is important because, dude, most people are really bad at this.
This
really bad at this.
Might actually be offensive to you today.
Why would I be offended by this?
Not you.
Oh, what's wrong with
Whoever's watching. But if you don't allow offense to happen, then this could actually be beneficial for your life.
Yeah. Offense is a moment. Offended is a choice. Dude, people say so many corny things.
I mean, it's true, but you know, it is a true statement. Honestly,
it's true,
though, it is corny as it is.
A women's conference.
Of course, you would.
Okay, but a lot of guys should hear that because I know a lot of guys who struggle with this, and This is emotional maturity. Having
emotional maturity.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, and what, you know, and talking about what it looks like in your marriage, in relationships.
I agree. And really what you'll see is a lot of people get married and they overlook this and it just hurts them in the long run.
Yeah.
Because now you got to help somebody grow up who is emotionally immature. That's
honestly terrible.
And it's wild. Like, you shouldn't just marry anybody. Like, you really should. People get married for the wrong reasons. It's like, but I love them. It's like, yeah, but emotionally they're like a 6-year-old and they're not ready to be married yet because they're a child, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna be a lot of work, and it's gonna be really hard. And you know who's gonna pay the toll? You. Because they're not yet a grown up. And just because they have a job and a car and a house and like all those are like definitely need to be in order before you even entertain them. Just because they've hit puberty like doesn't mean they're ready to be married. At all. And too many people just settle at like, well, I mean, I love them and I've been sleeping with them, so we're gonna get married. It's like, no, like, time out. Hold on. Hold up. Or it's like, or from the guy's perspective, it's like, she's crazy in bed. It's like, yeah, she's probably also crazy all the time.
Right. If she's crazy in there.
Yeah, she's probably crazy everywhere,
she's probably a little crazy somewhere else too.
Like, and you shouldn't know that yet either. But this is huge, is emotional maturity. And we just laid out a couple points of like where it needs to be and what it looks like, how that is, yada yada. And I would say like the most obvious one would be impulse control.
Yes.
And this is huge, is, you know, what do they do when a hot button gets pushed? What do they do when a temptation comes up? What do they do when they just don't feel like doing something? How do they respond and react to their impulse? And are they a slave to how they feel?
Ooh, yeah. And that really is scary because we look at the world we're in. I mean, we don't even need to really give clear direction in order to see that. Oh, it's insane. The world we live in right now it's actually like, if you don't go based on how you feel, then you're wrong, which is backwards.
Yeah, dude.
Everything is based on how you feel. Well, don't do it if it makes you feel that way. Follow your heart. It's like, follow how you feel. It's like, but you literally change emotions.
Yeah, people are like, seconds. Actually, I just had a bad day yesterday.
It's like, oh, but I just made this huge decision. out of my bad day, but really we cannot be people who are so emotionally driven and led by everything.
Yeah. And there's a lot of levels to it too.
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, the fights are the arguments, and we talked about that the last couple episodes, and if you haven't listened to those, go listen to them, because this will help you. Like, how to actually have a fight is huge. Even last episode, talking about the 4 horsemen of things that'll ruin your relationship. It's massive. But this goes under, like, what do they do if they made you mad? Like, are they gonna like whip a drinking cup across the room?
Right.
Like, what's their reaction when things are bad? And if you don't know what that is, you probably shouldn't marry them yet. If you've never seen them upset,
right,
like, just time out. Like, maybe they're a psychopath.
Yeah. But maybe they're childish.
Yeah, you need to see how they act, and it's like, okay, maybe they turn into some massive troll. It's like, well, guess what they're gonna do to you? You will be the victim of trolling. Like, if you don't like those things, if they're not grown up enough with their impulse control, then you need to steer clear. Make sure they grow up. And like, the other level of it too is in terms of impulse control. It's like, what do they do when they don't feel like doing something?
Oh,
because that's not just like this moment of explosion. Like, what, do they just lay on the couch?
I don't feel like it today. It's like, what happens then?
It's just a lazy slop. Like,
why aren't you doing that? Oh, I just didn't feel like it. Oh, so again, we base things off of our feelings. It's not going to have any kind of production of success or health or growth when you are only impulsive based on how you feel. Impulsiveness is a lack of thought.
Yeah.
It's a lack of thinking through things. It's a lack of processing. It's a lack
of the fruit of the spirit.
Yeah, honestly, it is, because it's just a quick reaction. It's reactionary and not responsive.
Yeah, you need to be an adult and make decisions about who you are, what you're going to do, and not live by your feelings. People that live by their feelings, like, what a hot mess of a life. It's like, every day is a different day. There's no continuity, no consistency. The effort is on and off. People don't trust you. Like, work doesn't trust you. You're just a part-time employee, probably. Like, you're hard to trust. And you need to get some emotional maturity. You need to work on impulse control and figure it out, because at the end of the day, there's only so many times you can apologize before people are like, actually, you're a psycho and I'm not interested. Yeah,
I mean, because at that point, your apology isn't really, it's reactionary.
Yeah, still. Your apology should be growing up.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you apologize for something so many times, but you're not actually putting in the effort to change those things, you're not actually sorry. You're just trying to put the Band-Aid on a deep wound.
Yeah, and I think we could all agree, like, nobody wants to work with somebody who has bad impulse control.
Oh,
it's like, oh, wow, they stormed out on a customer, or they ruined a deal, or they freaked out on everybody else. Like, that person's not going to have a job very long.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be on the outs of everything good with the job.
Right.
And for some reason, those people never get it either. It's wild, isn't it? They're like, everyone's just out to get me. And like, they're the victim in it too. It's like, no, actually, you're just a child. And
or they're the type of person who is like, goes through friends.
Yeah, cycles through friends like
and
crazy.
Then they're just like, well, this is what they did. And then they did this. And it's like, well, after you go through that many friends, I would say that probably the issue is you. If you can't maintain and have healthy relationships that many times, you're probably the issue.
I completely agree. And we just don't like to take accountability.
No.
And I would say we can segue this perfectly into the other piece, and this is like how to tell someone is emotionally controlled. Is like, one piece of this is, guess what? They own mistakes.
Yeah.
If you find someone who can't own up to where they mess up, it's bad. It is terrible.
Yeah, and let's explain what that actually is, though, because I think some people will try, but they'll add in the buts.
Yeah.
Which really isn't owning it, because you're still trying to deflect the issue back on the other person. When you own up to something, it's saying, hey, I recognize that I, had this kind of an attitude, or I responded, or I reacted incorrectly, or I shouldn't have said, it's saying whatever went wrong, if you did wrong, you say, I did it and I'm sorry, period.
Yeah,
I apologize. It's not a, well, I did this because, or, but you also do these things. Like, I can't stand that. It's like, just own it, take it on the chin, and keep it moving. It doesn't need to be a, well, we're going to make this even, and now you admit what you've done wrong too. You know, if we are both mature, then yeah, both people should. But sometimes, let's be real, we do dumb things. We say dumb things, we respond or react the wrong way, and the other person doesn't always do something. You know, so we do in those moments need to absolutely own up to when we've made a mistake.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, people don't do this because they are emotionally immature and they're scared. And like, this is a fear-based thing.
Yeah.
They're scared of what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
And look, if you're a person of character, you don't need to be scared of an outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, if you're an adult, you're going to own your mistakes because you realize it just makes things better.
Yeah.
There's two presidents, Bill Clinton and JFK. Bill Clinton got caught doing having something done. And it was bad, and he got impeached, but he gave a national speech. And it's like 5 minutes long. And there's only like 4 words in there of apology. The rest of it was placing blame on the female. And guess what? He got impeached. And you say Bill Clinton now, and it's not like budget stuff. It's not any of the stuff that he might have even done good. It's literally like, it's Monica. You know, it's like immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is wild because he didn't own it. I wonder what it would have been like if he would have just owned his mistake. Now, the other one though, JFK, he had like a bunch of military issues, like flubs. Like, he messed it up bad. And it's wild. He's on record saying, it's crazy to me because the more I mess up and I take ownership, the more they love me. Like Bay of Pigs and all these other things go on. And he's like, guys, I got it wrong. And people just ate it up and loved him. And people are scared that if they take ownership, they're going to be like put to the beating post,
or that it's like a hit against well, that's what it is.
They
right?
think they need a perfect record.
Well, and it's a hit against their pride. It's really a pride issue.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Honestly, if you have a hard time genuinely owning up and apologizing without trying to make the blame on somebody else, like, you have a pride issue, because ultimately, and you're insecure is what you're saying. I'm prideful because I have an insecurity somewhere, because I have to be right, and you know, or whatever your reasons are. So 100%. It's huge, but I love that when we can own up to stuff that we've made mistakes over, it builds a bridge of trust.
Absolutely.
Because it shows I'm human too, and it's acknowledging that I am aware of my emotional state. And when I take ownership of something, it now puts the other person at ease to know, like, okay, they're aware. And, you know, I can trust them because they can actually see where they've messed up.
Yeah, they're not 3 years old.
Yeah. And so it ultimately, when we own up to our mistakes, it's a bridge of trust that's being built.
I think it's pretty sexy when you apologize. Look me deep in the eyes and say, Daddy, I'm sorry.
Wow. Well, guys, there it is.
This is awful.
It is awful. Cringe button.
It was cringy. I laughed though. I liked it. But you also mentioned another piece about being insecure, and guess what?
Yes.
Emotionally immature people are insecure.
Insecure.
And dude, you don't want that in your life.
No.
That is repulsive.
It is.
That insecurity is. Well, one, it comes off in two ways, really. One, it comes off as like it comes off as like brash and prideful.
Yes.
Where it's like, inferior. I'm the best in the world. I am like untouchable and everything's perfect about me. Is like, actually, no, you're so deeply fragile that you have to convince yourself of how great you are because you're so fragile.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's repulsive to many people.
And I mean, maybe this is just my own opinion, because obviously no matter who you are, woman or man, like, we have to get rid of insecurities. It's not good looking on anybody. But I think it's especially not good looking on men, because men are supposed to lead. And if you have an emotional man that's insecure and unstable,
yikes. Yeah, you're going to be like holding him at night as he's weeping. Like, you're not there to mother him, you're there to wife him.
That's the thing. But and it comes back to the point why we have a mix-up in, and I know we already talked about this, but I think it's important to bring this up with like gender roles or how to have your husband lead you. Well, when your husband, or when the man, is emotionally stable and is secure in who he is and has confidence, it allows the female or the wife to completely be trusted of his leading, of his direction. It allows her to lay down every bit of like masculinity that she feels she has to pick up because she's not being led properly.
She can be feminine.
She can be feminine. She can do all of the normal womanly things, right?
Whoa.
There he goes again.
Whoa. That's a trigger. That's a trigger statement right there.
Submissive. It goes back to that. Like, this is what I'm saying. These points all carry back into what we've already talked about.
I agree.
And let me just say it again. When the man is emotionally stable, he's secure, he's confident in who he is, then naturally the woman will be submissive because she feels safe. She feels trusted. She doesn't feel like she has to carry the weight of what's lacking in her husband. And that's where you get a lot of very independent, I'll do it by myself, I'll take care of business women, which, I think on some level there's nothing wrong with that. But genuinely, when it comes to marriage and being submissive and all of that, this is a huge key in having that happen. That's a huge thing, and having this happen properly without having it be like this,
It's true. And there's
battle.
no I in team. Yeah. But this does derive from having like low
insecure
low self view. And so A, it comes out as pride or like arrogance or better than everybody, or B, it comes off as like beat down, beat up, like sad puppy, I'm no good, no one loves me, I can never do nothing. This victim mentality. Right. And that is also like not good emotional maturity because you don't have a proper view of yourself.
Right.
So they're going to try things and then they'll always fail because they'll always give up, or they'll always blame somebody, or they'll stop life. And look, you don't want to be in a marriage with somebody who starts and stops everything.
Oh, no.
You don't want to be in a marriage with somebody who can't ever get forward progress because they don't view themselves as being good enough. Therefore, they quit everything or they self-sabotage everything. Like, that is going to be a terrible marriage.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have kids with somebody like that because you got to work through this. And if you do have kids with someone like this, and if you are married to someone like this, then you need to build them up. Yeah. It's your role. One of my mentors, Pastor Joel, I think I already said this. He said, your biggest project is shaping your wife with your words, is making sure, and I'm not great at it, making sure that she has a confidence because her husband has built her up. He's like, think about it like a vase. Yeah. Like, you need to build your wife via your words into who she's supposed to be. Ladies, do the same thing with your man. Like, if you're married to somebody who doesn't have a good view of themselves, build them up. Or life's gonna be hard. Yeah, absolutely. Don't just beat them down. Like, what's the point of beating them down more? Like, don't do that anyway. Yeah, here's your proverbial newspaper to beat the crap out of them.
It's not a good look anyway.
No, you want to empower them, build them, love them, let them feel that strength of who they are, and give them that encouragement that they need to embrace who God actually made them to be. Right. And if you're not doing that, then guess what? It's just going to be hard. Yeah. And, don't weaponize the weakness in your spouse. So many people do that. They use it as a weapon of like, well, I have these weapons in my tool bag that when we do get in a fight, I know where to hit them or it's going to hurt. It's like, again, you're supposed to be a team.
you're in this together. There's supposed to be unity. And when you're ready to pull out, or you hold things as weapons, so say it's a weakness, you know, say it's something that they have a hard time starting things, or once they start, you know, they have a good time starting, but they need an extra little bit of boost of like, no, I believe in you. You got this. Like, that's it. Yep. You're creative, and I think you're going to absolutely crush this. Like, that's all it takes. But if you're like always starting and stopping, you can never finish anything. What's wrong with you? Like, you're just, it's gonna be way worse, dude. It's just pulling out a weapon and like hitting yourself in the leg. Yeah. Well, because literally. You're a team. You know what I mean? Like, literally, you're a team. You're in it together. So really, if your husband or wife are struggling with an insecurity, like, it's on you as a team to figure it out and to make it work. Otherwise, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
I agree. 100%.
You're shooting yourself in the foot.
And I think that now leads to another part of emotional maturity, which is the ability to have empathy.
Yes.
If you don't have emotional maturity, you won't be able to have empathy.
Right.
And I think empathy is being able to feel what other people feel.
Yep.
And that's important. You know,
it is important.
If you might not have gone through, you might not understand it, but to be able to feel what your spouse is feeling is huge.
Yeah.
But if you're emotionally immature, you're never going to get there. You're never going to be able to understand it. You're never going to be able to figure out how to speak to the issue.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what's wrong with them? Weirdo. Like, they're broken. Busted model. Like, figure it out. Like, congratulations.
Right.
On having the emotional maturity to realize what's happening over there and being able to help fix what's happening over there.
Right.
You need to have enough emotional maturity, not just be like, well, that's stupid.
Right.
Well, it might be stupid to you, but it's clearly not stupid to them.
It obviously means something to your spouse.
And look, sometimes people just blow things up, and it is stupid, and they just need to be like, get your attitude in check. But with real things, like, they need to understand what you're going through,
right?
So they can help you. They can minister to you. They can build you where you're weak.
And I think it's important to say, like, you know, and I know, brace myself for the jokes, but I think, again, and we can laugh and joke about it all day, but it's the truth. Like, men and women need to have an understanding of how men and women operate and think, because that plays into having emotional maturity and empathy. And as women, we need to understand that men do process and think about things much differently than we do. Everything in our brain is connected and touching at all times. So they can compartmentalize and think about one thing at a time or whatever. But men, you need to understand that your wife's thinking is literally wired like a big ball that's all connected with everything. So there's constantly, it's like, why are you thinking about that? Well, because it's connected to this very thing we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to bed, dude. Leave me alone.
But this happened last week, and now it's related to this right now. And it was, you know, so it's like, it's all connected. And, you know, women do need, and they are more, I mean, we have more of an empathy to us, or, you know, emotion. I don't want to say emotional.
Well,
you can, all you want to, but I think it comes down to part of how we're created. Am I wrong?
I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm not saying you're a truther. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I don't know. No, I would agree.
No, but this is why we're talking about this, right? Because this isn't just emotional maturity for the man. This is also for the women.
Dr. Carolyn Leaf wrote a lot about that. And it is very good. If you want a greater understanding of that, Dr. Carolyn Leaf. I would agree. And I think that women get a bad rap for having bad emotional maturity, but really, like, a lot of the dudes I know, it's like, you just need to grow up.
Well, yeah, you lead that.
Yeah, you gotta grow up.
Yep.
Dude. Like, you gotta make sure you're a man and get yourself in order.
Yeah.
And figure this out. Like, decide to be a man. Decide to have maturity.
No, and it really does, ladies. Like, it does. It depends a lot on how even your spouse handles things. You know, if they're very immature in handling things, you probably will also be very immature handling things.
More than likely.
You know, I mean, I just know based on experiences. Before Jesus, I was in some rough relationships, and it was very emotional on both ends.
You're welcome.
All the time. And
You're welcome. Say thank you.
No.
Say thank you.
No. Don't make this weird.
Is this bad emotional maturity on you? Are you too prideful to say thank you?
Oh my God. Are you serious right now?
In front of all of our friends?
Are you kidding me?
In front of all of our friends?
Stop.
This is how you're going to act in front of these guys? We let them into our combo, and this is how you're going to act.
Right now. Crazy.
This is crazy.
Yeah, Trey gaslighting.
This might be a
Oh, wow.
Bleep it.
But honestly, I mean, obviously there's moments, but I think overall, like, we don't have.
You can say it.
Oh my gosh. I want to punch him right now.
But because you're emotionally mature, you're not going to. You have good impulse control.
Yes.
But all in all, like, I just want to help the person who is about to get married. If you have someone who has got zero emotional maturity,
run. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. But I love them. Don't do it. But I already slept. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna save yourself. Make them figure out coping skills. Make them start meeting with a pastor. Make them grow up.
Yeah, and grow some character.
Make them grow up, please.
This is a part of having good character, right?
On both ends, make them grow up.
Yeah.
Please.
But again, I think, we need to have empathy and we need to be emotionally supportive.
Yes. And if you are married and you're realizing there's no emotional maturity, like, you're going to have to bring it up.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to start working on it.
You have to.
And if you care about your marriage, you'll care enough to bring it up.
Yeah.
And if you care enough to bring it up, care enough to work on it.
Right.
You have to get better.
Yeah.
And if not, this thing will haunt you. Like, there will be fight after fight because of no impulse control.
Yeah.
There will be the insecurities that will linger. All these things will just haunt it and get worse. And here's what I've realized too is, like, confrontation delayed means that the issue only grows. It's like mold, right? Like, if you don't take care of mold when you find it, it's just going to keep growing.
Yeah.
It's just going to get worse. Mold doesn't get better.
Right.
Well, guess what? Most people, like, as the same, don't just get better.
Right.
It's like mold. There has to be a conflict. There has to be a moment that it's addressed, or it will increase.
Absolutely.
Imagine how much worse it would be. Take care of it now when it's young. Grow up now instead of being this 60-year-old with zero impulse control and you've gone through 3 marriages because you're not mature enough to handle any marriage.
Really. Don't get remarried if you're not emotionally mature.
Yeah, this will save you so many fights, so many issues, honestly, so many problems.
And I just want to say, like, if you are a couple, younger or older, and this is something you've struggled with, reach out, or wherever you're at, find a couple that are emotionally stable, having a loving relationship, and ask them to help you. If you're unaware, well, how do I do this properly? Number one, it's definitely acknowledging the fact that there needs to be some maturity that needs to take place and happen. And then 2, it's, finding things that you can work on to make those things better, to shore up,
Amen.
Why you're emotional.
Amen. Amen.
Called maturity.
You want your marriage to last, you need to be emotionally mature.
Right.
And your marriage can only be as strong as you are mature. Yeah. Your spiritual life can only be as strong as you are mature. Like, your whole life, your work, maturity wins.
Right.
It's time to grow up. In love.
And we don't even want to talk about when you have kids. Like, children are already challenging enough on their own, and then you throw in an immature parent on top of that. Yoinks.
We're not talking about it.
Yoinks.
We're out of time today. We're out of time. This has been fun. I'd love more topics from people. And we're going to schedule a couple interviews here soon.
Yes.
With some people that have been married for a long time.
Very long time. And then, what restoration looks like if you've been on the brink of
Whoa. I'll be cussing out here. Chill out, dude. Can't be saying that.
Listen.
All right. But hey, say what's up. Share with a friend.
Yeah.
Subscribe or else.
Let us know.
Smash the subscribe button. So dumb.
All right. Have a good day.
Have a good day.